darlings, and welcome back to my channel. Yes. Today, I am coming at you with some books that maybe you should read during the quarantine. Guys, it is scary times out there, and I'm filming this video on the 20th of March of 2020. So, depending on when I upload this, things might even be crazier. But dealing with COVID-19 and all of these things has a lot of people shut in, and I think one of the best ways that humans get through crazy things going on in their lives is distracting themselves. And sometimes one of the best ways to distract yourself is to make something seem less scary and to explore things that are similar to this. So I picked a few books that I feel are good to give you maybe a reason for why you should stay quarantined, or are books about like viruses or other pandemics, or just books that remind you that it is better to stay in the house. There's a lot of different reasons why. So the first book on my list is a zombie book. It is one of the only zombie books that I have really read, and it is by a very dear friend of mine named Sylvester Barzy. He wrote a series called Planet Dead. You should definitely check this book out. The characters in these books are amazing, especially his female characters. I am always happy to see amazing, strong women, especially during apocalypse situations. So definitely give his books a check out. Another book I am adding onto this list was recently published. You may have heard of it if you are in the Twitterverse or on Bookstagram. It's called The Roo by Alan Baxter. This book should remind you to stay indoors, because in some places of the world, kangaroos can attack you and maim you, and you should probably stay away from those. So the story behind The Roo is that another author, Mr. Keelan Patrick Burke, posted this newspaper article about this kangaroo that was like terrorizing a bunch of people in Australia, and then he made this crazy amazing mock-up cover that was like old school, and it had the kangaroo on it. And Alan Baxter decided to write a story just based on that headline and the book cover, and it is amazing. So I definitely suggest checking that out. Number 3 is a book that I read a few years ago by Mr. Craig Wesley Wall, and it is called Skinners. Skinners is about this mutations kind of thing that takes over a bunch of people. It basically spreads like a disease. It is science fiction and horror. So I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know what the book was about when I read it, but it was very well written. He is an amazing writer. So definitely give Skinners a buy. Number 4 should be obvious. I am currently reading it, so I can't suggest this book as being amazing, but you will hear a review on it pretty soon when I'm finished. And that is The Stand by Stephen King. Pretty much when all of this stuff started, I immediately thought of The Stand, just because I knew that it was about some sort of pandemic, this kind of like a virus or something's being spread around. I've never watched the movie for it. I've never read the book, so I didn't know exactly what it was about, but I knew it was about that. So I'm reading it now, and why don't you guys just join along? Because there's never a bad time to read a King book. Another book I want to suggest is A Reason to Stay In, and it is called Let Me In. I cannot pronounce this author's name. I think he is Swedish. I am too redneck to be pronouncing names that I don't know how to pronounce. So It's called Let Me In. I think it has another name in Swedish, but I don't know it. The book I read was English. But it is about this young vampire, and I think that any book that is in the vampire subgenre should be regarded as a good book to read during this time, because it's a great way to remind yourself to stay indoors. If you stay inside, vampires can't get you unless you invite them in. Don't be stupid. The book I'm suggesting for that reason, and that reason alone, is American Psycho by Bret Ellison. Or Bret Ellis. Ellis. Yes, Ellis. I'm sorry. Because guys, there are psychos out there. So stay inside. Don't get killed brutally. Or maybe not. Another book that I'm going to suggest that I haven't read, but I do know a little bit about, is a book that is actually on its way to me at this moment, called The Fireman by Joe Hill. The only thing I know about The Fireman is that there is something going around that is causing terror and panic. And I think in times like these, having that distraction that also deals with real life often gives us a better perspective of how to deal with the real life things. So I'm going to read that book probably as soon as it gets here, if I'm not done with The Stand by then. I should be done with The Stand by then. I'm probably going to read it, and I'll let you guys know later on how much I liked it too. So guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for spending some of your quarantine time with me, or if you're into the future. Did we survive? Am I alive still? Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Give this video a big thumbs up. Hit the bell. All of my books and social media are in the description box down below. And that's it. Kisses, my darlings.